Okay, so today we have the immensely popular Cannonball Big Bell Stone series in the brute, big brute finish. It's really apropos for this saxophone because it is a brute. So Cannonball is famous for putting all the bells and whistles on their saxophones. Any little modification anybody's come up with, they've put it on. So first of all, double arms on all the lower keys. B flat, B natural, low C. Got the nice little flips on the E flat. Huge keys on for the F sharp and the high F sharp. So you just can't miss them. They're just right there. So the key pearls, instead of being plastic, are these nice little rare stones. I have to look it up. These are like amethyst, or I don't know. If you go on their website, it'll tell you. But a real pretty brown matching stone. So they have like they match the stone to the finish of the saxophone. So I had a black one, and I had the black with like the white with the black swirls through it. And they have like abalone and all different colors. So every place you touch the saxophone, they always get the lacquerware, but every place you touch it has a stone inlay. And there's even one where you don't touch it. This is called the resonance stone. Resonance stone. It's supposed to make it sound better. So again, in the brute finish, absolutely no finishes on it. Bare brass. Almost every manufacturer has a unlacquered model. The Yamaha has their U series for unlacquered. And the crazy thing is they charge more not to buff it, not to lacquer it, not to engrave it, and they charge more for it because it's a special, process. Not too special to me. But anyhow, so much for that. So another thing that I don't know what anybody manufacturing right out of the box does, but on the G sharp, you probably can't see it, but there's a linkage between here and here, and it's free floating. So normally you hit the G sharp key and a spring's got to pull it up. Well, it always constantly sticks. This one, you can kind of see it. There's another spring under that spring. So you got the normal needle spring here, plus another leaf spring under it, but it's still light enough to where you can articulate between the G sharp and the F. And it's really cool. I've done this modification on numerous saxophones. Everybody goes, I'm tired of my G sharp sticking and everything. So another thing they do that very few companies do is all these lower keys are on a loom across here. And you can see all these screws. And the first time it gets bumped, this whole thing, there's a little footprint here, a little footprint over here of a solder joint. And that thing, I get them all the time where the bell keys are just loose as a goose. So what they did is they added a right angle brace to that. So again, it's just rock solid. And of course, you got the little rocker between the B flat and the C sharp, and the B flat, which is really nice. The front F, or fork F, is just a knuckle away, which is really cool. And again, stones on all the side keys. Of course, King did this in 1942 or 1943, whatever. The Super 20s and the Zephyrs had inlays, and Kahn did it too. But anyhow, what else? Kind of nice. The side F sharp guard is actually unscrewable, as opposed to soldered. So if you ever need to get in there and work on it, you can just unscrew it, take it off, and so that's pretty cool. Got all these little patents on it. Got 1 million patents on it. And as long as we're looking at it, serial number is 168874. 168874. And if you go to Cannonball's website, you can look it up, and they have a pretty good serial number reference for the dates. Another thing they do is the thumb button, instead of being little tiny pearls like on the old horns, big fat one there. And when I've done my personal horn, I put one of those rubber mouthpiece patches on. It gives me a nice little traction on my thumb, so I'm not slipping around it. And they even taper the thumb octave key right into the button, so it's really, really comfortable. And it's the fastest action on the octave key I've ever felt. You just touch it, and everything opens up. It's really nice. So you get your standard neck, and not one, but two. And you get what they call their fat neck. So this has, of course, the under octave key, and it's a little different taper. So it's like getting two saxophones. You got a darker sound, you got a brighter sound. And this one really cooks. This is more of a traditional sound, and this is a real rockin' one. So they give you kind of a contrasting sound. Most cannonballs are laser engraved. They just take a gun, bzz, and they're done. This was hand engraved. You know, not terribly elaborate, but it's kind of cool. That's all hand done instead of just spit on with a laser machine. And it's even got a signed document from the person who engraved it, which is kind of cool. So she signed it and everything. If you go to the YouTube, there's a tour of the Cannonball factory, and there's like 4 people sitting there engraving bells, and they have one bell where it's engraved everywhere that they practice on. So it's quite an art to do that, and it's like the last process before it goes out the door. So I've never seen the quality control that I've seen with Cannonball. Taiwanese horn, but it goes into Salt Lake City, and I've talked to this guy, Ryan at Cannonball. He does that last final setup, and man, they just play out of the box like crazy. I've had, you know, $6,000, $7,000 saxophones come in, and I can still find problems here or there. I bought a brand new one when they first came out just to see what they're about, and spent an hour trying to find something wrong with it, and it was just absolutely flawless, which is pretty rare in this day and age. So again, every bell and whistle you can think of, they put on this horn. And again, in the brute finish. So the good news, if you get a chance, go to YouTube, and there's a Cannonball band, and every one of them is just a smoke-up player. And of course, my favorite is Gerald Albright. They have a Gerald Albright, Peter Chrisley, huge array of endorsees on the Cannonballs. But that Gerald Albright, he just smokes everybody. So, and they have a model for the alto and tenor for him, and I've had a couple of those, and they're just phenomenal. So this horn retails, I think, between $3,000 and $4,000, and it's going to sell for much cheaper than that. Just been overhauled. So the pads look like brand new. One of the top techs up in the Bay Area, San Francisco Bay Area, did a real nice job. And of course, I found, you know, a couple of little things that I had to do just to get it really smoking, and it just plays wonderful. So you can, here's my test down to the low B flat. Right down to that low B flat at a whisper. The one thing I'm not used to, it's got really strong spring. It feels like it's not even broken in, especially on the palm key, so I'm really having to concentrate. Personally, I'd probably lighten them up, but a lot of people like that really firm feel. It's kind of a European thing. So, real quick, we're going to take the mouthpiece off of here. I did have to fit the neck. Really fits nicely now. And then we'll go to the, again, always put this on first, then put it on the horn. I get all these destroyed necks. Just a finger tight here. This one's really free blowing. It just really rocks. So I'd use this one for like a rock thing. It blows so freely. It's just a huge difference. Very little resistance on this one and more resistance on the other one. So just plays like a dream now. And they say that no lacquer lets the brass breathe and vibrate more, and I'm not sure how much of that is witchcraft and how much is actually fact. But it seems to be the in thing. All the hot shots out there playing seem to be stripping their horns down to bare lacquer, and this one, no need, is already there. It's a little brighter. also, I'm used to my palm key sticking out a little farther, but that's an easy thing to put a little riser on there. So we're just going to play a little quickly, maybe just the one chorus of this, and see what happens. So www.Steve Gray Saxes, STVEGRAYSAXES.com. If you want to check it out on the webpage, tons of pictures of it, every little corner. I don't really see a dent. I mean, just a microscopic. I can't even hardly show it right there in the bottom bow. But other than that, it's not that old of a horn. And you can see where you actually rub it actually polishes out. And you could polish this back to looking real pretty if you want. But I don't know. This is the old antique look. It looks like a 50, 60-year-old Selmer that's been through the war. Anyhow, you don't want to listen to that all night. So there we go. Beautiful Cannonball, Brute series, Big Bell, Stone series. So basically they're top of their production line. Pretty cool. Okay, out of time.